feel like I got it really straight this time. I don't know. Feels like it. But I'm always crooked, so. There was the show I started watching yesterday. Oh my God, yesterday I just could not find anything. I wonder if it was yesterday or the day before. There was some movie, a Black Widow, and it was, I might have already talked about it. It was an Australian, I was just thinking about the frog in my throat, and I was thinking, I wonder if it's because I went over to Spokane, changed climates, then came back to this one because I'm having so many allergies. I'm like sneezing my head off. Anyways, that was like a sub thought happening at the same time I was talking. Okay, so back to what I was talking about. What the hell was it? Well, there was a couple things I want to talk about. So the movie that I was had turned on. It took me all day to watch it. I kept getting interrupted and going and doing things and stuff. So it took all day to watch this one movie. It was like, I don't know, hour and a half. And it was pretty good because it was a true story. I love those true stories and the kind of lifetime kind of things. It's straight, but I still feel like my head is like coming out like if I was on the TV. Well, I guess, or on your phone, whatever. It's like, ooh, and the red bar goes right across. So, God, I'm so forgetful. Why do I even stop talking about what I'm talking about? I get sidetracked. See, that's the thing. That was what happened with my brain injury. Well, I had a really good memory before. Now my memory's just fucked. But that being impulsive, having attention deficit, like I knew I had it all the time, but it's just like there's a bunch of thoughts firing off all the time. And, you know, I gotta try and focus because there's a lot of information. And if it's all coming out from outside of me, like how much of it is inside of your brain? That is what I had just tried to let her in. As soon as she hears me talking, I swear. Hold on. Okay, lady. Come on. Hurry, please. You know I'm doing something. That's a lot of different noises. It's the bells for her little communication. The alarm makes a ding. Okay. Anyways, now she's got to sniff the clothes because she tries to determine what I'm doing by what I have on. I'm just sitting here talking to my phone. What else do we have to do? Okay, so let's see if I can remember what I was talking about so I'm not too crazily jumping around. So this movie, in the Black Widow, she killed her husband. Shocker, it's called the Black Widow. But, and it got solved by the sister, relentless. Like, she started noticing things because she was like listening to her gut. Like, she would see something and it would trigger like, okay, that's not right. Something's wrong. I don't know what you're crying about, but I'm trying to talk and it's rude. And don't knock over my table. Why don't you just lay down? Have a little rest. So, anyway, she killed her husband, and then she kept lying about him and saying what a bad person he was. He beat her and stuff like that. It was really pissing the family off. But the whole thing was, she killed him because she was so insecure and so like that she thought he was cheating on her, and that was, you know, that's it with her. Like, you're gonna cheat on her, just figure you're gonna end up dead. She's in prison now, I think forever. I don't know, maybe she's got out. It's Australia. I don't even know when it happened, but it was good. It was a good movie. But anyways, and then I can't remember if that was yesterday. I don't think it was. I think there's been a day since. But time is so choppy to me. That's the thing is that was one of the good things that my brain injury really showed me, especially being so type A before and being so like on the clock, that time is not, it's irrelevant. It's not real. It is what you make it. And the structure is just part of our enslavement. So I don't think it's going to be around. Even when I was talking about the time change thing, there's some kind of manipulation they're doing. But the daylight had already changed before they even did the thing. And it was all of a sudden, we went from like, I don't know, 6 or 7 hours of daylight to all of a sudden 10. And now I think we're up to like 11 or something. It's like going past myself. And anyways, it's just more minute. Oh, that ball. Oh, my house is small for balls, and she loves balls, and she has a squeaky one. It always goes under the fucking couch. Okay. Oh, you put your bone under there too? Oh my gosh, Stella. I'm trying to do this. Why don't you just lay down? Oh, see, she just started scratching on the couch, trying to get in the couch to get her thing. It was so funny the day that she learned that there was space underneath there, that because I got a light. I was looking for one of her things and I put a light under there. She was fascinated. She laid down and she just kept looking under the couch for the longest time. It was so cute. I love watching her become consciously aware of things and to think about things and stuff. I tell her everything, and I don't know what all she understands, but I fully believe that's how you build understanding. Okay, so I don't really remember. Oh, I did open my champagne yesterday afternoon. Like, it was later in the afternoon. But I didn't even go by the 5 o'clock rule. I was sitting there and I was like, you know what? I'm going to celebrate. Her tail is just going super crazy. I'm going to celebrate life just because. I don't need to wait for the emergency broadcast to celebrate. I'm going to celebrate. There is things happening. We are moving forward and we are in exciting times, and we should be celebrating life, Oh, I knew she was gonna. Okay, Stella, you got to move, girl. Go over there. God, why do you gotta just... I think she's a lot more manipulative than I give her credit for. Now my phone is all freaking not straight again. Okay, that's better. She does this shit on purpose. That was her tail. That tail, she can knock over a full glass of water when it hits. Man, that tail is a weapon. And it's funny when, it's not funny, but it's funny. When the little girl next door, she's 2 years old. So she's like right at the tail. And dogs' faces are right at the tail. And so when they'll be behind her and her tail is just slapping them in the face, and they'll just keep shutting their eyes and just keep getting, oh, honey, I don't want to play with. She loves to play tug of war. And when I was at the thrift store, I got her some new toys. So like $10, and I got her some really cool ones. And at the thrift store, you can get stuffed animals so cheap. Like this cute monkey. It's probably like $40 at the fucking pet store, at the toy store. And there's like $3. Stella likes monkeys. She's had a few. She always ends up pulling the limbs off because she loves tug of war. Okay, so I decided I'm just gonna celebrate just life and just being happy and having so much gratitude. I love my life. I love my house. I love what I've created. I feel happy and grateful. And so I just wanted to celebrate. So it was Prosecco. And so I had, it was just a tiny bit, but I did a couple times. I have some left, and I said, I'm just not even gonna eat dinner. I'm just gonna sit here and I'm gonna smoke a bowl, have my, my drink, and I think I just listened to music and danced. Yeah, I like to do that a lot. It really uplifts your soul. It just makes you feel good. If you put on happy music, and there is something to the frequency, but you have to pay attention. You know, if something makes you feel tense or nervous or stressed, it's not a good frequency to be listening to. Listen to something that makes you excited, makes you want to dance around. There's a lot of it out there. I'm talking and I could be just having my head above the thing. I don't even know. I'm trying to play tug of war at the same time. And anyways, so I did start this show. It must have been, okay, so during the afternoon, I must have done the music and stuff. And then I decided I was going to celebrate. But anyways, I started this show called Wanderers, I think. No. Oh, what was it called? It's on Netflix and it's new. Maybe it was called Wanderers, but I also may have that mixed up. Maybe they're the walk-ins. Because the Wanderers, that's in the Book of One. The Wanderers, they talk about that are souls that come from other places and they go in to all different kind of lives to create change, make change and stuff like that, which you could, you know, also think of them kind of more like what people would consider angel kind of energy, because they are trying to create change for good. And so, you know, there's so many different levels of your energetic resonance. And so, you know, there's you know, there would be other ones that, like, they're not all the same. You know, we like to compartmentalize and put everything in the same box and label it and call it something and stuff, but it's not like that. So anyways, it's that more of that kind of energy that wants to come in and create. I feel like it's chopping my head off. Create that kind of more positive, following God's law and stuff like that. And you can get that book and read about it. I've talked about it before. It's it was some channeling, which, by the way, I saw this girl this morning, and I don't even know why I watched it. Oh, I think she said something about I got my soulmate drawn by a psychic. And I think I had seen something about that the other day. I was like, they could send you a picture of anything. I mean, who would do that? And anyway, so she did it to 5 different ones. And she was doing it kind of like a joke. You know, like, how ridiculous is this? And she was a lesbian, and she got a couple of guys in her drawings, and they do a whole little bio, and then she got a couple of girls. And then she told one, or I guess there was one that it was LGBT, whatever. And the other one was, she told one. So one of them just sent her a girl, I think, without knowing anything about it. The other 2, I think, knew she was a lesbian. But anyway, she was just talking about it and kind of making fun of it and stuff. And, you know, that didn't believe in psychics. But out of the thing, what I was taking from it is like, well, you know, there's people who market this psychic thing, which I don't think that's what it's about. I think it is just tuning into your own guidance, and your guidance isn't necessarily for that stuff. And so, I don't know, there's just something that is, it's just kind of like not kosher to kind of be selling stuff like that and call it psychic, because it kind of, I don't know, it kind of makes it silly or something, when it's a real thing. Like, it is just tuning in to your guidance. It's just having awareness. It is being insightful. It is, you know, it's just a deeper way of thinking, a deeper consciousness. So, but, you know, maybe she's kind of having an awakening and questioning it or whatever. You know, whatever about her. I've seen other people, though, too. And I just think, you know, you're going to block your own gifts if, you know, you can't have awareness that there's something outside of you. But okay, so back to the show. I can't remember what it's called, but that might be why I'm saying Wanderers, because I don't think that's what it was called. But it was the same kind of concept, only these people are coming from the future. I'm only I don't even think I've finished 2 episodes yet, but it just had me thinking about other stuff. So the people, they're coming from the future. And when somebody is about to die, they can walk into their body. They can take in their consciousness into this one when that one is exiting. They've got this technology in the future. And whatever happens in the future, they've come back to this time to change so they have a different outcome. That's what all, and there's a whole bunch of them. Whole bunch. And they're meeting up with each other and stuff. And she's moving the table. And they've got to go into these people's lives and pretend they're these people at the same time. But it just had me thinking, like, for one thing, when you do have this, because, you know, after my brain injury, and then you get this new spiritual, like, wokeness of, you know, something comes alive in you. And but it's weird because I already knew about it. Somehow I with all of the bullshit that we live in, but somehow I had boxed it away or something. I had cut myself off because it was there. Oh, Stella, please. Oh my Lord, girl. I had boxed it off myself. And I don't really know, because I knew when I was a kid, there was so much stuff I knew. And I would hear them talking and stuff. And I knew there was communication. There was like things I understood that, and then I don't know what happened. But anyways, when I got my brain injury, it went back to that connection, that feeling, like knowing that they're there and hearing them and stuff like that. And I was thinking, it is kind of, when you go through this awakening, it is kind of the death of the old you, the death of the part of you that it wasn't turned on or tuned in to the frequencies or whatever, you know. It is kind of like an ending of that person, and you start a whole new person that has got a completely different awareness. They have a completely different drive. But also, besides that, where I was thinking about that I found interesting, like, oh my gosh, it is almost like a walk-in soul. It was almost like my higher self was waiting for me to catch up, and then they walked in or something, you know, like there is, like that is more like a 3-dimensional play out, but I'm talking, and more literal. But I'm talking, you know, on a kind of, like, if you think about it more on a spiritual level, that it is kind of like that, you know, because it is like, and that's what's hard when people, like my kids, you know, they're going through their own stuff in this awakening process and dealing with whatever things that they need to get rid of. But, you know, there's a part of me that they hold on to, that person is gone, that person is dead, that person no longer exists. I don't even understand that person or relate to her. You know, she's long gone. But they're holding on to her. In their life, she's very real. But, you know, that's their journey. I can't do anything about it or change it because I'm somewhere else now, you know, and I've apologized a million times, but when somebody is in pain, apparently they don't hear apologies, or they don't last, you know, they don't, you can't fix someone else's pain. They have to fix it themselves. So you can't really, you know, carry someone else's burdens. You can't take on someone else's trouble. They have to fix it themselves, and they will end up resenting you if you try. You can't be someone's mommy or daddy or their fixer or caregiver. You got to be their partner. You got to be, you know, their equal. And, you know, yesterday also when I was talking about relationships and stuff like that, because I believe our natural thing is to be monogamous when we are with the right person. But I also believe that we have a lot of relationships that come into our life to teach us about ourselves, but it's more to prepare us for the right person, because you're always looking for that right person, but you are blocking yourself because you've got to heal yourself. You got to be your best version of yourself to pull in the best version of yourself. If you're just, you've got issues, you're going to pull in people with issues because you guys are there to work these issues out. So, and then we all think like, oh, it gives us these feelings, so it's love and we should start a family. And, I just wonder how much of that is even part of the agenda to destroy families. So, I mean, it's like a weak structure. We aren't taught how to go into relationships. We use relationships as a rescue tool. It's like a life preserver out in the fucking ocean of a storm of life. And people grasp onto them and they're not healthy. And then they feel defeated and hopeless. And, it's just such a cycle. But I really believe that, now, I'm not saying I always did. I mean, I'm in the place right now. That doesn't mean I'm going to believe this in 5 minutes or 5 years, because I feel I'm always changing. I'm always looking for more. I'm always trying to understand everything on a bigger level. I want to understand my connection to the universe. I want to understand my connection to myself. I want to understand what everything is. So I'm always trying to change and understand things. So, but at this point in time, I do think that people come into your life to teach you things and to help you become your best version of yourself, because that is what we are here. And when you want to have a relationship, whether it is, somebody who wants to have a family or somebody who wants to have a companion or whatever the purpose, you call that person in, then, if you are not in a good headspace or emotional space in your life and you haven't dealt with things and you've used coping skills that weren't healthy to, just to kind of stuff it down in or hold it back or whatever, just to forget about your problems. And it's surprising how many people really do that. Like, things affected them as a child and like they don't even feel like that they have the right to process that or deal with it, and then they hate themselves, they punish themselves. I mean, when you go back to even the sex thing, the people who have to punish themselves in sex and be hurt or hurt others, like they're just so ashamed of having needs, of wanting to feel love or wanting to feel comfort or whatever, and I don't know. I think it's kind of sad. But okay, so back to the show, The Wanderers again. There was a whole bunch of these people are coming, which reminds me of the whole thing about the light workers and the star seeds and stuff. Oh, John's hole in my sock. And mind you, this is Netflix, so it's The Order who is running the show, and they're putting out information. There's a big fuzzball in my hand when I put it up. They are putting out, sometimes it's misinformation, but sometimes it's just manipulated information, because I really believe that this has a lot of real stuff, that they are kind of molding it to be different than it actually is. But there is a lot of souls that have come in from different places. And, and some are from the future, because time isn't what we believe it is. Time is all things happening at once, and it's all moving and it's always going, and that's why it just is infinity. It just goes and goes and goes. That one time when I had that one experience and they pulled me in, it was the weirdest thing, because it was like I had so many different ones, but this one was that they pulled me in, and it felt like, it reminded me of like what a record, when it, has all those little lines and it goes, and you could go into any of those. you know, that you were in a whole nother place, whatever line, whatever thing. And it was going fast. And I don't know if this was like some kind of portal or something, but it was going fast and it just like sucked me in. And I was in it. And as soon as I was in it, it felt kind of like a tornado or something with this, but it didn't make you feel scared or sick or whatever. And then I thought, if I'm going, I want to take Stella and, or was it Lucy at the time? Might have been Lucy. Because I have no time concept, but I know that this was on the house that I had Lucy. I know I lived there when this happened. So I was like, you know, I got to have her. And I heard him say, you know, I'd be able to take her. But they didn't take me away, you know, take me to heaven or they took me to this. And I think had questions that I was going through this huge awakening. So I know I was having a lot of questions. And so they showed me, and it was, I don't even know how to explain this, because it seemed like everything was dark, like what you would think, like open, just space, you know, just spaces, just darkness. And it was like this infinity, but it was, it almost looked like a roller coaster or something, and it was moving like that. And it just kept moving and moving and moving. And it was like, I was like a god or something. I was like above it. And I could feel all of the pain and I could feel everything in my whole entire body. Everything, all my energy could feel what all these emotions were as they were happening. And as they were going, I was totally aware of the cycles, like the earth cycles, like of being, there's good times and there's sad times and there's like all these different cycles that are happening. You know, you can jump in as a soul, you know, you can incarnate. I want to experience that. I want to go through that. I want to, you know. And one thing about earth too is, as a soul being, as an energy being, you would have the awareness that this was an enslaved planet. You would have an awareness of the obstacles you were up against. And that there's a lot of people who have come to try and expose and change and stuff like that. And that's why there's so many at this time. It's like there's just a ton. And that's what it was in the show too. It was just a lot. And, you know, on this show, they're trying to actually physically do something to change an outcome in the future. But in what is happening, as the way I understand it, is all these souls have come in and it's an energetic change. They're bringing in other ways of looking at things, other ways of doing things and seeing things, and other understandings of what's out there and around us. That they're coming in with all these different things because we are in this transition of going into this new experience. So there's all of this coming in to, you know, change the wave, going that direction. Kind of like, you know, when they change the current and they put, she's moving the table, when they put the thing to change the waterway or whatever, to go in a certain direction. So that's kind of how I see energetically of what is happening now with all these different souls, and they're all coming from all different, you know, realms and dimensions and planets, or however you understand the universe. And so I found that quite fascinating. And now I saw it's like 3 seasons, so it's not like that new of a show. It was new to me. I don't even know what channel it's off of, because I did used to have Netflix before that freaking the cutie thing. That was quite the, I wasn't, because I don't have little kids. I have grandkids, and I'm like, oh my God, I don't want them to be watching this. Something that is adult, but it's marketed toward, I mean, little kids in it, but it's for 18 and over. You have to watch it. That's weird. And then some of the other stuff I heard, but that was the response from Netflix. I'm like, fuck that bullshit. I'm not supporting them. And then once you know who their CEO, who's sitting at the table deciding shit, they're manipulative people. But I was also thinking, so if which I just heard, was hearing somebody talking about the Anunnaki this morning, and that's where the blue blood thing came from. You think about the royalty and the blue bloods and who runs this, and the ancient families and the, these royal bloodlines and the blue bloods. Then, and then people wonder, how, like they can't even wrap their head around that we are enslaved by these people. But anyways, it's all coming out. So, but if you think about them, okay, so if they are reptilian or whatever, I know that there's a lot of people being killed as reptilian food, because we have like trade agreements and stuff in space, as nutty as it sounds. They try and tell us like, oh, right now they're leaking out. Well, there may be some space people out there. We're not sure. Well, Jesus Christ, you've had fucking trade agreements with Mountain Space for years and years and years, decades. So, try telling the truth. But there is some kind of a trade where they trade us as food. And I don't even know how many are alive and how many are already dead. I don't know all of that. But I had heard from somebody, I was watching some kind of show, maybe it was on Laura Eisenhower's show, but it was she used to interview some of the guys from Secret Space Program. But it was definitely one of those, and they were saying, they've seen like, not just pallets, but, what are those like whole train cars, like huge things just stacked of bodies that they would trade. So those were bodies, but I don't know, maybe they're just knocked out on knockout drops. I don't know. This stuff is weird. They show in movies and we think like it's entertainment. It's like, oh God, they're really doing this. They're just showing us. And the thing about life to me is all this stuff has already happened. Like if you go inside yourself, you will know what's going to happen next. You understand, you know what you're here for. And, they want to keep us off so that we don't get in touch with that part. But we all have that. And it's all happened before. And like right now, we're just like, we're on replay. We're just going through this experience slower, focused on it. And, but all things have already happened. So you've already done all this. And I think that's where like we get those things like deja vu. I don't even know about the Mandala thing. Like I have had so many experiences now. I just think it's some kind of a glitch in the matrix. Like it's not, nothing is set in stone. Like some of us are having different experiences. Because I've had conversations with people and I know, I can't remember shit, but I don't just make shit up in my head. If I remember something, it's because it happened. And I can remember a couple of conversations and they remember them completely different. Not just like, oh, she's totally moving the table. Not just like, oh, we talked about this and we didn't see it the same way. Not like that. Like totally different conversations. And that to me is some sort of a Mandela effect kind of thing. I've also heard that the Mandela effect has something to do with because and our scientists and stuff are messing with time and space, and that's what that whole thing is. I think it's called CERS or something, that big thing where they're trying to create life, and so they're messing with atom. They're just doing stuff that who knows if they should be doing it. I don't know, because then there's also there's higher technological beings that are involved, and they are telling them things and showing them things. So I mean there's everything is so fake and so unreal at this point that but that is real is that that this is a spiritual war. This is This is, you know, the reign of evil on this planet. The enslavement is ending. And like what I had seen on that thing when I was going through that experience, you know, I mean, it will come back. There will be other, you know, everything repeats itself. It just goes in these cycles. And I took it too as when you're outside of your body and you are just witnessing those things that you do want to help, you do want to change things, you do, because you feel it. You literally feel it. And you know, when I'm dancing around and singing or being silly in my house by myself, well, with Stella, I feel like I'm entertaining those beings, you know, the ones that are around me to help me and stuff like that. And I feel like it is, you know, it puts out this energy of pause. It's just like a better feeling energy when you're putting that out there. And think about the energy, like if you're sitting and watching something that's scaring the shit out of you, or that's pissing you off, or that's making you sick, or whatever, the energy that you're putting out there. And what is being drawn to that energy back to you. And so I think, you know, the more that we focus on that happy energy, that the more that we are going to create more happiness. But I do think that there's a lot of beings who are here who are all doing that naturally. Like, we are all hearing it loud and clear what we're supposed to be doing and stuff. And, you know, I don't know if there is like some kind of separation, if there really is some beings that have been stuck in this enslavement reincarnation cycle, because I had heard that before, that they had not just in life, but they had these souls trapped in death, and they kept sending them back and sending them back. And that's part of the whole thing where people were having those near-death experiences. And all of those, everyone, people aren't just sent back, but they do feel triggered to go back and fix things. And so, you know, there's a lot of stuff on other levels that, you know, we're just not going to know yet. Hopefully we're going to know all things. I think that that is what's going to propel us more into this more, because they say like other beings from other planets, like they don't come zooming down here to have a picnic with us, because we're like the lower, you know, scared, well, we're slaves, and we're easy to scare, and if you scare us, we may just kill you. So I think that the beings on other planets, they are more, it's so silly that there's people that just think that they're demons. Like, for sure that there's ones that are evil. I think that we're all kind of coded, you know, and I'm sure there are some that are evil, and I'm sure to them, when they know that death is not real and that they're just killing that body to use that body, but your soul is going to go on. I don't know if it has. That's why I'm saying too about good and evil, and or good and bad. You know, are they doing something bad? I don't know. You know, are you just going into that life to be lizard food? I mean, we all know, I believe it, that we know what we're choosing for our lives. I mean, there's soul contracts, there's, you know, it's I think our dead life is a lot more, it's got a lot more going on than what, you know, some of the stuff just even in our alive life. This should just be, when you're incarnated, it should just be about the experience. That's what, you know, you're here for, is to experience, to learn, to grow. And everybody's just so caught up in that it's for something else. But, you know, I don't know, like, because wouldn't it, if they were just pure evil, then I would think that God energy would have enough energy to just wipe them out. So I think that there has to be a balance, the yin and yang thing. There always has to be balance. But I know that we were here having the experience during the Piscean age for good and bad, to have an understanding. Because what I came out of it feeling like there is no good or bad. It's all on an individual scale of how we perceive things. There is no set standard. So, I don't know. I mean, I like to question things. And it would be nice when there's people to talk to and, you know, bounce ideas and hear what their perception is. You know, because that helps you to restructure your own perceptions, to be your own understanding when you get new information that people share. So I think that that is really, it's good and it's helpful. And I would say, you know, that show so far, it seems good. So if you're interested in watching something like that, I find a lot of shows as just being thought-provoking. You know, when I was at my daughter's and we watched a lot of supernatural ones, and I would think like, oh, I'm gonna have to talk about that. That was so good. I love that idea. But you know, I can't remember it all. I can barely remember yesterday. Sometimes I have to find like some kind of a thing, like a thumbnail or something of the day, and then if I can find something of that, usually I can see like a little bit around it. There just isn't like a, you know, like a set replay in my head where I could just look through the day. It's just it's like what are those sound bites of the day? What a but I don't know, maybe nobody can remember. I mean, maybe I'm just comparing it to what my memory was like before, where I could just look through, I could look through a whole day. I could see it clearly. So I don't know, maybe some people, this is how they live all the time with no basis of understanding of of connection and stuff. And I don't know what everybody's perception is. I don't know if there is beings that are here right now just to help these ones get out of this enslavement, or if it's just a role they're playing. You know, I mean, I'm sure there's some that are kind of like soldiers here, you know, warriors and people that go out and fight the evil. I think it's kind of cool. Like, I would like to do like a movie or a book about that. I think I can't ever stay organized in my thoughts long enough, but I think it could be really cool. And it's a lot more like real, what's real. So, and they do show some of that, because I heard like Star Trek is more of a documentary than it is a made up movie. But see, that's the thing too, is some of these artistic people who are getting information that is coming, they didn't just create it in their head. It's coming from out there. And whether they have awareness of it or not. But oh, I'm sure there's so many books that are entirely written from somebody sitting out there giving them the information. If they, you know, maybe they have a huge ego and they think like, oh, I'm just so smart, I'm so gifted, I'm just gonna go out there and, you know, and then maybe that makes them not go any further. Maybe it is something, you know, I think you have to acknowledge and have gratitude. And but you know, I mean, that's something for everybody to figure out on an individual level. Nobody should just listen to somebody else and go, oh, they said it, so that means it's all real. You know, you should always look into everything. You shouldn't give any power over to anybody. And the people who want to take your power away from you, you especially need to be guarded over them. Because we should all be completely empowered. We should all be completely connected. And the more we connect with ourselves, we connect with our higher selves, we connect with the universe, we connect with one another, we just find that we're all something so much bigger than what we believe we are. So I'll leave you with that one, because I'll just keep on talking. Okay, have a great day. And now she's snoring. Okay, talk to you later. Bye.